You should be most welcome to building a battleship in From the Depth with your host Gmodism. And this is the Draconia you've seen last time, and to be honest, we've met some bumps in this road here. We hit some bumps, and it will be difficult to make this ship strong enough, because I noticed that when we delete the repair bots and stuff like that, it does not perform very strongly against the Megalodon at all, and we need to make this ship be able to beat the Megalodon quickly in order to have a chance. Because my assessment of Borderwise ship from the videos he made is that it's basically a little bit inspired by the Megalodon. It has the Azipods, it has a very heavy armoring scheme like the Meg has, and it also uses super strong defenses, just like the Megalodon, with really good lamps, and he also got the ciws cannons and the anti-missile missiles and all that thing. So I highly doubt that my cram cannons will actually be able to get through. So I will need to redesign this ship so it can beat the Megalodon really quickly before we can basically send it out to the battlefield. So there are some small changes we need to do, and that I've already done right away. So I will spawn in the little updated version of this ship. And here we have it. So what have we done on this ship? What's different now? Well, what's different is that we've actually removed a lot of the cram cannon turrets, because crams that can't get through, as I said, they're not worth it. All cram cannons that are still left on this build, they are turned into pure kinetic, so mostly just armor piercing or hollow point. This includes our these ones, the mortars. They are 100% hardener pellet. They are hollow point, artillery. So they are basically designed to drain the enemy LAM systems so that our other payloads can get through. That's the intent with it in any case. And one thing that is quite annoying, and that is that, you see this 3-gun turret? Well, it doesn't have separate, it's actually 4-gun turret, it doesn't have separate local weapon controllers on this thing. And this means it's actually a very bad design. This won't work very well, because the crams are in the lead and the other shells are trying to aim, and it doesn't work like that. You've told me, I've gotten a lot of tips, and I collected them, both tips in our Discord, in the comments and stuff like that, and I collected them, and in this video we will try to fix as many of these problems in order to increase the combat capability of this thing. Because the truth is that the crams won't get through, and either we can opt for doom crams, like exchanging all these crams to basically one big system, and that will be really hard to fit, so I don't think we can do that. And the other thing is to go with APS instead, because APS might be a tad bit harder to counter against for the defenses. So that is where we're going with this. And as you can see here, I've already started to design some different APS turrets, because we are probably going to go with a sandblasting trick and make a little blaster that just shoots a constant stream of shells in order to slowly tear off surface things, barrels, detection and stuff like that. So we shall indeed begin. And was it something I missed? Yes, these beauties are small turrets that are designed to shoot a constant stream against the enemy so that the shields of the enemy is weakened, and every time one of these tiny shells hit the shields, there is a chance that one of our bigger shells will get through and not bounce off. So that's the idea with that. Yeah, so we will have a lot to do, and I think that I'm not sure my decoy is actually strong enough, so I changed the decoy to a stream of smaller decoys in order to probably lead away some of incoming enemy missiles. In other case, we have a lot of things to update on this thing, but one thing we unfortunately need to do is to scrap this turret. All the different gun systems, the crams are in the lead and they won't follow after, and we lose a lot of firepower this way. The way to solve this is to have a different local weapon controller for each of these weapons. And that's the proper way to solve it, and it would have worked. It's just that if we do that, we can't EMP protect those local weapon computers, which is not ideal. So I thought it worked better by having just one at the base of the turret, and it only works if the shells are the same or a very similar speed. And this is not the case, so it won't work. And that's very unfortunate, but well, alright. So with that said, we shall indeed tear this down and make it an only APS turret. That's my plan. We need to change some missile things. We're gonna see if we can go with short-range thrusters, and if we go with short-range thrusters, there is a possibility that the missiles are quick enough to actually get through the Meg's lambs. And if we can get through the Meg's lambs, we have a much better chance at getting through Borderwise's lambs as well. So this will be a little tedious video, but I will try to make it as short as possible and cut away all these long building sequence, because otherwise this video will be too long. Anyways, see you soon. Alright, so here we are at the first step. You can see I've gutted out this turret here so we can fill it in with a dual. I think we're gonna do a dual APS system in there. Maybe more, we shall see, and not quite decided. I have also changed around a little bit with the missiles. So we are now using, these are actually kinetic missiles now, we're gonna test that out. So short range thrusters, torpedo propeller for backup. So they really want to deal some impact damage is the thought there. And so most of the vertical launch missiles are now delay and short range thrusters to kind of bypass the lambs, hopefully, be quick enough. And then I also had to change a little bit for my anti-missile systems. I've added APN guidance because we have lots of internal space, so we can use it for fuel. So now hopefully these will be much better at hitting the enemy with a nice high gain APN guidance, which is nice. And I've realized a little thing that's a little problematic. Some of my anti-missile systems, I forgot to add a friend or foe addition. And this is true actually for my turrets that do this. So what we need to do, we actually need to rebuild my anti-missile turrets. And I need to resave that template, because this setup, it usually doesn't do that, but there is a small chance from what I've seen that when we don't have a identify friend or foe addition, it sometimes accidentally detonates our missiles, it seems like. So I actually need to rebuild them, and on all crafts that use this, I need to update that as well, because when I built this I didn't realize that there is a small chance that it actually will target my own stuff, which is not very good. They are very efficient in any case. Anyhow, so that's that, yeah, there is like a lot to do to actually make this like work. These are actually still shooting kind of slow, but they deliver a EMP and frag warhead. It's the sharp frags on these ones as well, so they do the same thing, so that's interesting. Anyways, now you can see all the Hardener. We only have Hardener shells going on there. And we might need to switch the direction of the era as well, probably. It's actually a better idea. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. Alright, and now I spent all too much time building a new civs, because I wasn't happy with the Axis civs I made before, so I made this. type A. Small, yeah, civs. And I've started to use mimics. I'm cursed, so it doesn't clip, it just looks like it. But it's pretty... I haven't tested it yet, to be honest, but I used my new knowledge about civs and stuff. So I even made a medium version as well, because they are a little better. It's a little bit more vulnerable. But this is short-range thrusters. They are really set out to be launched out fast. We have ejectors, we have APN guidance cranked up high, and we can use the internal space for fuel as the APN guidance don't take all that space. So that's cool. So hopefully, and I also set up the civs controller, so they will basically target enemies not like everywhere. If you can go here, no, where is it? It's somewhere inside of here. Oh. Okay, we need to do like this. If we can just select the small block so we can see. There we have it. Oh, here. I have a main rule set, so it has a kind of sharp angle, and its weight inside 300 to 800 meters, so they should be able to reach them while still exploding far away from the craft. And I hope that's enough. I'm not the best with the rules yet, but I'm trying to learn to set them up. And of course, we have identify friend or foe for maximum results. So that's nice. And one thing I also kind of like with this type of setup is that the missile controller is set up to 10% and 10 degrees accuracy before fire. And hopefully this will result in much more hits. And regarding the decoys, I'm not sure I mentioned this before, but here we have, there are a lot of sticky flares and radar simulators, and they are set up to just fire up a constant stream, yeah. So hopefully that will drag away some enemy missiles, but I'm honestly, I have thought about removing this decoy system here, because I'm not sure it really, so to say, pays for itself. Because it's, yeah, let's see here, 5, probably, maybe we should set it at like 3 seconds. It's kind of expensive, and the signature on this thing is just so huge. And if we just go inside of here, detection lines, well, let's see here. Yeah. Radar. And apparently there is something with this strength that says it's so far away we can see it. 25,000 meters. And if we go to, let's just let's not view that, and just go to the decoys. And apparently this strength here, radar simulator strength, is, you know, 3,200, so it's not even 10% of our signature. So it's kind of unlikely we can even draw much away, so I don't really know if it makes sense anyways. We have some decoys on this thing too. I guess they do something, but I'm not sure this does anything actually. So please tell me if you know, because that was the values I got recommended to check, and now and then I check them, I can basically conclude that I think my decoys are pretty useless. Now there is also a percentage chance that they will work, so that's why I don't remove them completely, because there is a small chance they can drag something away. Yeah. Oh, and where credit is due, I believe it was from Eternal Eclipse, I learned the tips about having APN guidance for all anti-missile missiles, and then just use the internal space for thrusters. Yeah, so that's a really helpful tip. Oh, another thing about armor. So I've been using this wood metal checkerboard pattern some good while. And sometimes I've used it as kind of surface armor for a little bit like visual effect because it looks kind of cool too. And it also has its benefits. But now when I've talked a little bit with Jono, who made Jono 1928 on our Discord, who made the original calculations that came up with a wood metal checkerboard pattern was actually superior. The difference is not that high, so it might not be worth the time doing that. It has some, it of course has the armor class bonus between wood and metal, but they did some updates too on how explosive work in cram spaces, which mean that more wood block might get deleted than should have gotten deleted. And if we use a checkerboard pattern, then we don't want to use it on the surface. We do want to use a solid material on the outer area, so we have kind of an outer shell, like pure metal is better for the outer shell. So the checkerboard can be good internally, but with some testing I also found that, and some in my Discord found this as well, that stone and metal checkerboard is pretty good as internal armor. It's kind of cheaper and it has similar stats. It's as heavy as pure metal, but it's pretty sturdy anyways, and it's cheaper. So we have that. But basically, when it comes to the wood metal checkerboard, like this, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's that pattern. I'm gonna stop proclaiming this so much because you can't use it as surface armor. We can use it internally. But there are some other better combination. As I said, stone and metal is pretty like cheap but still strong armor. And I'm also found here we have so alloy and wood is a pretty good lightweight aviation kind of armor, but for internals, not for like external stuff, then we're gonna use something more solid. So for this little build, something that Adnecrias pointed out to me as well is that when we do this, we also get huge problem with health point drainage, because even though the wooden armor is fairly disposable, like we don't care much if we lose like a wooden block, but because we're playing as we do with the like same rules, like everyone else, the health point matters for tournament cases, and if you have wood on the surface, your ship might get a very low percentage, even though it's actually not that damaged. The percentage might actually make you lose. So having wood at the surface for tournaments isn't very good, because then you lose a lot of health points, and even though they're disposable, you might lose percentage-wise, if that makes sense. So by that insight and knowledge, thanks to Adnecrias, well, for tournaments and stuff, we just shouldn't have wood at the surface. We can do that for the campaign, it can be useful, but yeah, it's probably better to have a more sturdy surface. And I kind of like to use wood because it looks cool, and I will use wood because it looks cool in some other cases too. But when we're doing tournaments, I'll need to probably keep my wood internal, because wood is super cheap health points, and if we can keep it from getting damage, it can soak up kinetic shells that leak through, and yeah, it can be real, like, in terms of materials per health point, wood is the best material, but it's easy to damage, so we want to keep the wood kind of protected, kind of internally. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna start do, basically. And since we have some floating problems when we exchange this front part with metal, I'm going to actually have some alloy inside of here. I'm gonna replace some of the internal armor in the front here to alloy, so the internal wood gets alloy and we get even better floating capabilities, and hopefully that will work pretty well. So some of this internal stone and stuff we have here, I can just replace this with alloy. We'll have a slight cost increase, but that's absolutely fine because we get much improved floating capabilities, which we really need in the front. And it's cheaper to do it this way than to do it with propulsion anyway, so that's that. Alright, so a lot of like blocks to replace, and like honestly, as I just thought a little bit that we shall see. I'll do my best, but honestly I'm not very certain I will be able to make this ship good enough to win, because I learned so much in the process of building this ship, and when I started out I had some practices which I've stopped with, and yeah, I learned so much making this thing, so I kind of think that this is already a little bit outdated, but because of the shape and the ship has some limitations, and because of that it is very hard to update it so it's good enough. I don't think it's possible. Yeah, because, and I could of course just remake this entire ship, but I feel like this ship is like a journey and you've been like with me on it. So yeah, we might go into this battle, take a loss, and then have a rematch when we have completed a ship that is better. But of course, no need to despair, no need to give up. We might of course still win. It's possibility. I have some things and I have some plans that I want to implement in this ship, and some of these plans and some of these weapons which I will design might actually be strong enough to do the job, even though the ship itself isn't the most optimal in terms of yeah, in terms of anything, to be honest. It's yeah, it's as it is. Oh, here I have some stone pattern with metal, yeah. Alright, so let's see here. I think we replaced a lot of that with alloy, so we have an alloy heavy front. We should probably replace some internal pieces there and here and there, just to not get the like first blast to be we don't want to get blasted in any way, shape or form. We want our initial outside armor to be able to take some fire. So now the stone which is underneath is actually a little bit stronger, but it's also heavy. So where is it? I think it's stronger, isn't it? No, it's actually a little bit weaker. Yeah, it's much weaker, to be honest. Alloy is pretty good, I must say. It's light, it does the job. It's a must for aircrafts, and I should probably start using alloy more. But I will stick with that you should not use alloy if you don't need to. If we have a slow ship, well, metal is stronger. So it's that. For the same cost, metal is stronger. Alright, do some alloy there. Oh lords, here we have some... Now this ship is a complete like mess internally. It's a challenge to build on this thing. By this point, it's a little bit much. All right, I think let's see if it floats now. You can drop it down a little bit. And there we go. Seems to have some yeah, it seems to have improved floatiness in the front here. That's nice. That's nice. Alright, super good. So now we have some armor in the front so that light shells won't shred our health points that easily. Right, so this ship has like 120 repair bots. And I asked border-wise how many we should have, and we agreed on 4. So we have a couple to remove. However, hold shift and click delete. But now all the repair bots in this area are removed. So I'm going to hunt down and remove my repair bots wherever they are hiding, and then I can check using an online tool that actually calculates how many repair bots I got. I think I got a couple in the other AI compartment back here. Yeah, that was a couple. Oh, I think it's, is it? Yeah, I think it was those before, which I removed, and that worked out fine. Doesn't it say inside of here somewhere? I think it doesn't. That's the issue, that's why I needed to use that online tool, right? There should actually be a list of used blocks for every vehicle you make. Like games like StarMade kind of had that. It was just listed exactly what blocks was on a construct and the cost of producing them. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna hunt around a little more, but I'm pretty sure this is all of them. Right. I will double check using the online tool, but I removed all the ones I found, so I should now be able to add 2 on each side. So now we have hopefully a total of 4 repair bots. Yeah, and that makes this thing not survive against the Mega very much well anymore. I found a pretty cool tool online. It wasn't a tool I've found before, but I just googled and I found basically just what I talked about. I uploaded it and it's Xionics Gaming, blogspot.com. So Xionics Gaming has made this little tool here. It's from like 2009, I think. And I just upload the blueprint here and I get a list. It's like wood beam 15,000, metal beam 14,000, era armor slope 5,000. It's pretty cool. And it basically lists each and every block I have, and repair bots are indeed 4. So I have 4 repair bots. That's pretty cool. And I have one unnamed block. What is that? That's pretty cool. Alright, so now we have double checked that. Now we know we have 4 repair bots. That's good. Otherwise, my no repair bot tests with bad results would have been even worse if there were actually 10 repair bots hiding somewhere. Anyways, let's continue. Oh, and I should say that this 30mm cannon shield trick, to kind of trick the shields to not, to basically help us with the shields so that the shields are down more. We got that tip from Kevin Try, so thanks a lot for that. And we got another tip from Kevin Try, actually, from the Filky Bells, and that is to make it so that the turrets are actually not really facing forwards. We should make the turrets face a little bit of another direction in order for them to be able to turn a little bit, and this will make it so that the accuracy of the turrets are better. So I'm just going to go down there. Let's see here. If I go here. Alright, so idle. Let's see here. Idle azimuth. If we set it to like 90 degrees, or like almost, it has to 62. No, it has to turn a little bit before actually it can aim aim towards the enemy, and hopefully this should indeed help very much with accuracy, so that the first shots are more likely to hit. So that I'm very curious about trying. Now we only do a 60 degree. He made it actually be 180 degrees away, so that's a lot more, but hopefully this will make it hit. But yeah, it also looks cooler. That's a big thing too. Anyways, so we added some well, nothing. We spawned the BBS 5th season here just to test it out a little bit. And of course we haven't added like the main weapon or something like that. It's like, well, it's damaged, but it's like 1.5 million right now. So of course it's on the weaker side, but it's not doing a very good job so far. It seems that my short-range missiles, they are not quite reaching the target. It's like, I really wonder, are they really set up with a like delay for the thrust? Because it doesn't seem like it. It should be like a proper delay for the thrust here. The needles should actually, like, are all of them set up properly? Now we're already kind of in degraded mode, so it's not the best. Oh yeah, short range. Oh. Alright, short range thruster. Oh, they have no start delay. They should have like, I don't know, maybe like 5 seconds start delay, because we have a guidance delay of 2. Alright, let's have a start delay of 3 then. So the one turn has some time to act. Alright. Because that was not the best setup there, okay. Oh, okay, so the short range thruster has a start delay. Yeah, that has a start. Wait, what? Yeah? Okay, now it makes sense. What did I say? Set it to now. Okay, so let's have guidance activation delay of 3, start delay of 3, max duration 5. Thank you, now I'm messing up. I'm getting confused by the degraded mood. It's quite annoying. Anyways, let's see here, this start delay, okay. So that's why they absolutely did not work. Now, the BBS 5th season do not shoot any missiles at us. So, yeah. I don't really know how well our new civs work, but we're gonna check that out. But now I wanna get out of degraded mood, oh my god. Alright, so here we are. I am redesigning rather, this turret into a functional design. We ended up with 2 barrels. I think that's kind of enough, and when building this I just realized that, well, because I wanted to have different shells, the different shell have different rail draw, so they kind of have different speeds. So I had to do this little funny finicky thing. Like this one, the right gun here is loaded up with Hesh, and this one is loaded up with like pure, reliable armor piercing, just kinetic damage. And it's kind of interesting here. So this one goes almost like, if I go here, this one goes like 1,334 meters per second without the rail, and this gun goes 1,223. So they're like different speeds because there are different weights. So what I did was to kind of tune the APS's railgun percentage used for accuracy buff, and this is like 39. So maybe it's like wasted, but it's pretty accurate now. That's nice. So we can use this, and then it should possibly work pretty well, maybe. In any case, that's the system I've been going for, and I thought about I could make a larger gun here, I believe, and I really should look at BBS fifth season's cannons, how the Tetris is set up for those. But I was actually pretty happy with my Tetris for this thing. Let's see, what is it, like 15,000 or something I set it up for? Alright, so how much damage does this do? This does 19,000 damage. Yeah. So it does a lot of damage. Good armor penetration capabilities. And now I should actually turn back so we can see the proper turret here. It was impossible to build it with that layers applied. So you can see we actually have a lot of free space here, but I'm thinking that I'm gonna use this space for armoring, because I really want this turret to be super resilient. I want it to basically not die unless the firing piece is taken out. So I'm thinking to add, like we have heavy armor outside of here. It is actually wedges too, so it should absorb some. I'm thinking to add some more wedges around the important pieces with heavy armor, and then just have metal beams and stuff like that to really make it resilient. And of course they have ejection defuses, so we can eject them right into the turret here. Yeah, if an autoloader gets destroyed. More relevant for the Hesh side, I'm not 100% certain I will go with these shells, but I think they are a good pair. They do a similar speed, and yeah. So these turrets have a 3 seconds per shot, an 18 RPM. And if you look at them here, I basically have one autoloader, 2 ammo clips, one autoloader, 2 ammo clips. And this is a little less efficient Tetris than I usually do, but it's more space efficient. So if we look at stats, it has 1014 volume per firepower. And I don't know if this is good. If you are one of the APS nuts in the comment field, please do tell me if I've made a good job or not. Anyways, I think we should be taking these gauge increasers and putting them at some other more safe locations. Like we can have one there. And I actually think that I want to have some extra gauge increasers, yeah. I can have some extra gauge increasers just so that it doesn't get too low. How much do they cost? They cost 20 extra. Yeah, we can have a couple of extra just to make sure. So I can kind of shorten it off there a little bit, and you can see I have, if this gets broken, there is a small chance the other one is still intact, so we can have some different ones. Yeah, so that is nice. Alright, hopefully this will work pretty fine. Now, I do think I forgot. No, I do have the symmetry plane. Okay, good. Now one in the corner here too. So we're proper 500 mil. That's nice. Yeah, well, I'm gonna armor up this turret, and that would be that. Alright, so here we are. I finished this turret up, and well, we're gonna name it the... Oh, I need a mimic to cover that hole. Anyways. This is called the Type C APS. Dual barrel. It has Hesh and armor piercing. Pretty nice kinetics. So, what we have left to add is probably we need some smoke protection to protect against lasers. But the next thing we need to add is, you can see these cram cannon turrets. These are kinetic turrets only. So I have a few questions for you. Should we exchange these with APS turrets if we can afford it? Tell me in the comments. And here we also have this little thing. Now this has a turret here, but it's... I don't know why it's weird. But this is a little turret that I've built, which is a belt-fed outloader, automatic turret, kind of heavy fire. I think it's pretty good, I hope. But I've heard that maybe we should actually have a not belt-fed, like, fast-fire turret. And I don't know. I'd like some tips on that in the comments as well. Because we've added like this big turret, and that's obviously a kind of slow turret. It fires every 3 seconds. It's not slow, but you know. But we need a turret here and a turret here. And I think this is the turret we'll have here. But I'd really like you to just post some ideas on how we can make a good sandblaster. Because the last the last 2 turrets I want to add on this is basically sandblasters. So that I think will conclude this little video. I have some more tweaking to do until I can roll this out of the Gmodism Industries factory, but I feel that this video is long enough and we did do enough for this day. So let's just spawn a crossbones because I want to see my cannons. There we go. And it's a little bit laggy, that's for sure. So we can't really check the performance of the turret right now. We can probably spawn it on the platform and kind of check it from there. I guess we'll see some shots coming through. I think that these shells, the armor-piercing one, should probably go through it. We have a lot of crazy missiles going through there, that's for sure. It fires every 3 seconds, so it's... I'm guessing, yeah, we're of course we're in degraded mode. It just spams too much. Well, in any case, that's that for this little building a battleship video. So hopefully it was interesting, and we'll be back with more. And here you can see, you probably want to know these stats. It's 141 RPM. It's a little bit limited by the outloaders, and it has belt fed, so it loads quickly, but it's like that. It's pretty cool. I don't remember what ammo it has. It's using... oh, is it using squash heads? Cool. So it's a spamming squash heads. It's a lot of spalling here, that's for sure. Well, anyways, so about that, do post your best sandblaster tips in the comments, and we're gonna make sandblaster next time, add some smoke, and after that I think we indeed would be absolutely able to send this beautiful Draconia out to the battlefield. So, thanks a lot for watching. This has been your host Gmodism, and we're signing out.